give us a few minutes to put things together. Hope everybody had a sick weekend. We had some awesome family time. I cleaned out the garage. That was a wonderful moment that really is one of those things that you're going to do, and then within a week it's going to be back to what it is after kids run in there and rambunctiously take everything that they're doing and then just disrupt the entire work ethic I just put through here. So yeah, let's get going in here. We are live on Facebook. We got a YouTube rolling. We got a couple things rolling today, but it's been a great day. Hope you guys are really just enjoying what you're doing out there and what's happening, and we're going to get going. So
you can't have my page. Sorry. Yay.
We are live. Here we are. Okay. So got a lot of exciting topics here. We're going to do some more changes to the show today. Hope you guys like them. If you don't, you can let us know. That's cool too. But just here, let's get going. Louder than usual or what? All right, so we are live. This is Jason and
this is Peely.
There we are. Second cup of coffee. It's Tuesday. Thanks so much for checking in with us. It's been an awesome day. We are excited to be here with you today. Yeah, we had a great weekend. We were coming off a lot of fun times, just a ton of fun family activity. We're able to get the kids out and do some social distancing, seeing our family, my parents, my brother's birthday. Happy birthday to my little brother, Ryan, who is no longer a little boy, but it just shows you how fast things go, right?
Yeah, it was my mom's 60th birthday.
Wow.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, and Zoom, of course, because we couldn't be there. Don't know how the whole plane things, but Zoom at least allows us to feel engaged and within there. So yeah, what did we learn? What happened with our weekend recap here?
So much. Like we said, we saw our family. Family is everything, especially in this time. Lots of states are opening up, lots of extended families coming back together. Even at my mom's birthday, some of my cousins came over, some of my aunts came over. Not a very big thing. There was maybe 8 people instead of the probably 800 people we were going to have at her 60th birthday. So instead we did something small. We did it on Zoom. It was really, it was great. But just for me, I learned once again how important connection is. Just having that connection, reaching out, whether it is through Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you are, Twitch, wherever you are, make that connection. And if you're like with somebody, make sure you touch them and you hold them and you squeeze them and you have that connection. You have that one-on-one FaceTime. I mean, the book I'm reading, Coronavirus Collective, a collective of authors that came together and wrote positive and light and love. One of them is in Mozambique, and she's talking about how she was called to do this thing, to like really reach out and become a missionary and hold on and connect with people that way. Other people are just trying to get you to come out of the sleep that you're in, especially when we all went into our homes when we were told to stay at home. We can still connect while at home. So if you're not connecting right now, please reach out. Let us know how we can help you. Leave a comment, anything, and let us connect with you and let us help you.
Yeah, so we were actually, it's funny when things happen like this, everybody starts getting in there and starts learning about like history, right? So the searches that back in March that were for the Spanish flu, the 1918 pandemic, they actually did a trend where before that it was almost minimal searches, and then it went up to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of searches, right, for the 1918 pandemic, because now people are trying to catch up for that point. But you think about that, right? Not that we knew to prepare for this, but what can we do in our daily business right now, where we're at, to look forward and see how we can prepare, how we can put together there. So yes, hey Jacob, how you doing, man? There's our buddy Chad. Hey Chad. So for that, looking forward, that comes down to the topic of the day. And we're going to do a few things here. So we want to continue to make this fitness is big in our life. So we're going to continue to keep these about 30 minutes, right? And so what you can use for these is that we're going to say 30 minutes. Well, that's a great time to work out. So you want to listen to Jason and Peely, Second Cup of Coffee live. Well, here's 30 minutes to work out and you can do this. And we're going to actually give you a halfway point right about the 15-minute mark. We're going to say to you, yes, that's your halfway mark. You're halfway done. And you can figure out what you want to do. If you're biking or what, you got to turn around and come back home. So I saw this somewhere else and just love it because that's kind of a lot what we do too, right? Do a lot of running while I listen to podcasts. Maybe you can really put it into your routine and get that thing going while you're drinking coffee, if you want to drink coffee and run and bike and everything else, or let us do the coffee drinking. But getting back to that topic there is that work ethic, right? One of these things about work ethic is that lots of times people talk about, putting in the work, but are we putting in the right work? Because there's two options here, right? So work harder and work smarter. And ideally, you have to do both, right? There's not one. You can work hard, but if you're digging in the wrong direction towards goal and you don't get there, well, yeah, you're working hard. And if you're working smart and trying to just put the thought process to it, but not implementing, right? So you're doing the smart part of it, then you're not getting it across. So right now is that part where we have to get away from the thought of working hard and where can we put that to good use within our business? Where can we think forward about where we're at today, what we're doing today, and what we need to do in the future?
And it really, really just comes down to, for me, with work ethic, it always comes down to systematizing and making sure I have my systems in place and making sure like I deep down know where I'm going and how I'm going to get there. And
continuing to improve, right? Just because you had a process, right, was that, it doesn't mean that it's good forever. Mm-hmm. You have to constantly look at your process and see, okay, this is working today, right? This is working now, but what do I need to going forward? Because right now there's some flux. There's a ton of things that are going to continue to be difficult. And there's also a ton of things that can be easy to do, right? There's a ton of ways that you can get in contact with people who maybe aren't as active as they can be because they're stuck at home. There's a ton of potential to learn something new because there's so many people going out there and talking about what they're doing. So what can you do within yourself today to go out there and work harder, put the effort in, but make sure you're using your energy right? Peely's really great at systems, but we got to make sure we segment too, right? We want to say, okay, this is my chunk for the part. This is my chunk for the day. So the morning I'm going to go out there and I'm going to tackle business tasks that go for this. The afternoon is going to be my follow-up calls. And the end of the day is going to be my recap on the day of what I need to really do and really work on to do tomorrow. And then within that, you can do your fitness and your family. So how can we continue to put that work ethic in? And what I was thinking about, we were working at Frying Pan and there was people who were there that just, they had a job that if you were to think of this job, you may not give it enough clout, right? Because the job might not seem important, but they're out there putting that work in. They're out there, and you can think of anything. It could be the porter, right? The porter's out there and you don't notice them because they're, it's just part of the operation. It's like, a gear on a bike, right? Someone's riding a bike, you're not noticing the gears, but it's absolutely optimal to the performance of the bike, right? So if the gear was broken, well, no matter how great, how great of a cyclist that person is, they're not going anywhere. Right? Well, the same thing goes with the company, and that goes down to that person. So if you're in a position right now where you're doing a job and you're saying that, I just don't feel like this job is good enough for me or an input. Great. Okay, fine. So aspire to be something better, but don't stop putting in your best effort, because you being your best at this moment in whatever you're doing is how you do your next thing. It's not one versus the other. It's not that, okay, hey, I don't like what I'm doing, so I'm not going to put in the work because I just don't feel, I feel it's beneath me, or I don't feel it's my worth. But, the second that thing is in front of me that I do feel like I'm good enough for, well, now I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to switch it on. And all of a sudden I'm going to do that work. Well, it doesn't work like that. You don't just find that work ethic when the time is right. You either have it or you don't. And it's the people that are always in position for just putting in the work, whether that's them digging a ditch or them solving cancer. Those are the ones that make the biggest strides in life, because when that opportunity comes, the work ethic is there. So they're going to put in the work and they're going to do it right, because that's the way they've learned to do it from the start.
The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So everything that you do, and make sure you are on, this is why I always come back to systems and making sure that you are doing the right thing at the right time.
Jacob had it right with you there, right there. How you do anything is how you do everything. That's absolutely Jacob. Right. And remember, your step is now to look at your process, look at yourself, and look at what you're doing. Are you giving it your best? And if you're not, why not? Is it that you're distracted? Is it that, you're tired? Is it that your mind's somewhere else? Is it that your energy is just not right? What is it? And what can you do to adjust? Right? Because we don't make these massive transformations in a day, but ultimately start doing the work and start putting in the pieces daily, and you start to see the results. Part of 75 hard, the training, the process we're doing, it gives you that moment, it gives you that time to really think about your daily practices and implement them, but they make you take a progress pic. And that's not to show off, it's so you can see the evolution of yourself throughout, right? The evolution where it is. And amazing, we're back into it now, and just the way we're into it, it's now creating more of a easy go, right? It's not something that's so new to us anymore. It's now, okay, what can we do to put in the work?
Well, I remember when we first started 75 hard, it was hard and it was hard work, and it was remembering everything, and it was just getting it done correctly, and making sure we didn't go to sleep before we got everything done.
Mhm.
Now it's almost like clockwork. Like last night, I almost forgot to read. I laid down. I was like, what did I forget to do? And it's like I knew something that I didn't work hard enough today to get that done. So I got out of bed. Everyone else was sleeping. I think we had all the kids in the bed. So I tucked myself downstairs, went into the basement, read my 10 pages, super happy that I did because I learned so much in those 10 pages. Came back upstairs and went to sleep. So I could have just been like, you know what, I'm tired. I'm just going to go to sleep. I'm not going to get up. I'm already in bed. You know what, forget 75 hard. I don't need that. But that's the thing, like working hard, we're not saying like go crazy and like do all this hard work and like tell everybody how hard you're working. That's not it.
That's why the working smart is part of that philosophy.
Yes, you work smart. You work smart. 75 hard is about working smart and developing mental toughness, knowing that I am not going to forget to read those 10 pages because I want to win at the end of the day. I want to win at the end of 75 days. I want to win this challenge at the end of my 75 hard year. I want to win. And in order to win, you have to work smart.
And so, talking on that narrative here, we're going to lead into our business topic of the day here, coming up on our minute mark here, is that talking about leadership, right? So, I had a post that went out over the weekend just talking about leadership, because lots of times people can't understand why they're not either engaging themselves or find their best use of really leadership. And if you want to be a leader, here are the few things that I've seen that really stand out. It's that you take responsibility for the actions, right? You're the one who's going down with the ship. Whether if it's good, it's your team that's gotten you there. If it's not great, it's you who has to find the ways that you can do better because you have not put the right resources in place. Your ability to put the right people into the right position for them to succeed is paramount. You making sure that your course, you're looking at the objective there and being open to other people's opinions. Because if you're going to sit there and dictate every single move, you're not going to be leading, you're pulling. Right. So looking at yourself as a leader, and this goes down to if you're an individual and you're not someone who's in a leadership position, which most everybody, you may not think yourself as a typical leader or boss, but you're all in some kind of leadership position, or someone around you that you're helping in some kind of leadership form. But if you're looking at what you're doing within yourself, well, okay, you're not in lead of yourself if you're not taking care of your body, if you're not sleeping right, if you're not eating right, if you're not keeping your body conditioned, if you're not breathing, if you're not giving yourself the right moments to think about your day. So in terms of you as a leader, you have to look at yourself as your own business, as your own corporation. I am the corporation of me, and how am I performing today? And if you're helping others along with the process within, you have a business or other, what are you doing today to take responsibility from where you are and putting people in the best position to go where they want to be?
So for all of you who are looking at this and looking at us and being like, you know what, Peely, I'm not really a leader. I have my job. I love my job. I take my steps in my job every day. Or, you know what, I'm so uncomfortable when I'm in front of people. You know what? The thing is right now, the world needs leaders. Whether you were born to lead, and there are those who were born to lead. The presidencies we've had, whether you agreed with them or not, they were born to lead. That's why they were put into that position. And you can point them out. They're famous leaders all over the place that were born to lead. And then There are those who are situational leaders. Right now, we are all in a situation that we need leaders. We need thought leaders. We need leaders who are exuding kindness and love and putting that into the world, who grab people and tell them it is okay. Here, this is how you do this. Here, this is the way to do it. Here, follow my lead, and leading with your whole heart, with your whole mind. And again, working smart while you do it. This is what we need right now, folks. We need leaders. We need the people who are not getting pulled down by the doldrums and the darkness and the negativity in social or just in the world in general. We need those people who can rise above that, who don't say negative comments, who don't think before they act, who will take this time and improve themselves. And by improving themselves, they improve the world.
And so we're coming up on that 15-minute mark. So you're halfway through your workout. If you're doing 30 minutes, if you're doing 45, you're a third way through. So keep rocking and rolling. But in that said, some things we've learned again on really just watching so much going on, right, is that there is going to be a lot of opportunities for us to continue to improve ourselves. Every day there is, but it's the people who are putting in the work right now and looking at this are going to be the ones that come out of this on a better side. This is not time to just take yourself away from all your plans for this year. The year is still here for you to conquer it, right? So if you start taking a year and go into, a 12-week year, like that book right there, and start processing it in that format, well, then the next quarter is just starting for you. You can come in here and just start crushing that. So how can you look at it? And you constantly have to be really sizing up where you are. And this talks a lot to multifamily. We may have an idea of what that investment is going to look like, but as opportunity arises and markets grow, and as more people move into the industry, or as the area or the path of progress takes a turn that maybe was not expected or not foreseen, you got to look at your investment. And that comes in multiple ways, right? Is it time to sell? May we have to hold longer? Has the pandemic changed our ability to look at what we're doing? Because now we can say, okay, I'm constantly in review of what I'm doing. And if I'm reviewing myself, then I'm being able to critique myself going forward. And that's where you can align with other people, right? I had my my weekly accountability call today at 8 a.m. And it's a way for me to just check in on what I'm doing and where I'm going, and really check in what they're doing. One, it spawns ideas, but two, it gives me accountability, right? So Peely and I have our own accountability, but it's also now talking to someone who's strictly just into multifamily too. We're talking eye to eye here on practices that they're implementing. Constantly asking questions, right? We're only good at what we're asking and what we're getting back, right? So it's like anything. You want to search for something in Google. If you put in the wrong term, you're not going to get the right wording back. It's like you have a million emails, right? You're trying to find that thing in an email, and you can't find it because you figure out that you put it in weird terms or weird words, and you finally put that in there, and it always comes out. So our input is going to be great as what we get out of it, right? So looking forward, where can the advantage of the market be in? I actually heard today, interesting, is that Apple is going to stop giving you headphones with the iPhone. So why would they do that?
Well, it's cost effective. They're saving a lot.
It's also a huge income driver, right? And so now iPhones make up about half their sales. And so for that point, you get headphones with them. And if they're giving you headphones that actually tie in with the cord, what headphones aren't selling?
Any other headphones that they have on the market?
The pods.
Yeah, the pods.
Which is their driver, right? To get people in there. And so on that point, they want people to buy those pods. Well, I'm not. I'm just listening to other people who are smart and refurbishing the data, but at least putting it out there so you can think of your business too, right? Is there parts of your business that maybe you need to give away more of? And is there other parts where maybe it's a secondary income driver that you can now add back in, right? And so Texas Roadhouse, we talked about them a bit ago, but they're one that did not take any government funding, no bailout money, but they haven't laid off anybody. They're massively succeeding. How are they doing it when all these other restaurants are quote unquote shut down or barely open or not? Well, one, they did go in there and implement now curbside pickup. They also got delivery going on. They also now have meat cutters that are in there cutting the steaks. So what are they doing? They're now selling steaks. You can literally made to order, cut ribeyes that you can go and pick up and buy the steaks. Then they're also doing, in some of their buildings, we're actually doing movies on the side of them, and now doing parts where you can drive up almost like a drive-in movie. So you have all these different ancillary parts where they were like, okay, you know what? yeah, did not predict COVID, but okay, COVID, you're here. So what are we going to do? Are we going to sit here and say, "Oh, yeah, you got us," or are we going to jump in there and say, "Okay, what is another thing I can do right now that can take our business, protect what we own, and give us options for the future?"
See, this comes back to everything we're talking to you about leadership. Without the sound mind of leadership for Texas Roadhouse and their mindset of winning, that would never have happened. So they had the correct mindset when this all went down. They're like, how can we keep afloat and thrive within the confines of COVID? And what can we do to provide value to our customers? Customers that come to us on a sometimes daily, weekly, monthly basis. Jason, I love going to Texas Roadhouse whenever we can. It's a great place. It's a great family establishment. And we always feel like we're taken care of. And we have 3 kids. We mess a table up. And they come afterwards and they're like, we love the fact that you were here.
And we tip for that messing up. We do,
Yes.
being restaurant people,
Yes.
growing up in that part, we tip for that part right there. So it's one, it's a glory to get out there and not cook, but 2, it's also, we make sure that the wait staff, we appreciate you for everything you do, and we tip accordingly, because we try not to make a mess. But when you have 3 different kids with 6 hands and we have 4, and, you know, there's only so much of us when we're trying to battle the octopus. But in that, another story to be seen. And in terms of yesterday, right, we had the challenge that you jumped into.
Oh my goodness, Murph. It's the first time I started and completed Murph. So Murph is a challenge. Oh gosh.
So Lieutenant
Sorry.
Michael Murphy. So of course, you know, thank you to him and his services. A hero workout that was built in CrossFit that incorporates what?
It incorporates 1 mile run. And you're thinking, oh, that's pretty easy if you're already running. So 1 mile run. Okay, next, 100 pull-ups, then 200 push-ups, then 300 squats, and then another mile run. And I was thinking to myself, why would you only do a mile? Yeah, after I finished those 300 squats, I did not want to run that mile, but I did, and I completed it. So, and you were supposed to do this with a 20-pound weighted vase. So I did
weighted vest, not vase. I guess you could carry a vase.
No,
Yeah,
no vases.
Yeah,
vest.
Okay.
So I did a scaled version of this. I did the mile run. I did scaled pull-ups, which I ended up doing rows, and I don't know what these are called, but I kind of pulled myself up on one of my kids' pull-up things. And then
that's probably what it's called. That's a new marketing thing. Yeah, a kid pull-up thing.
Kid pull-up thing.
Yeah.
The push-ups, I did 100 of them. Regular push-ups, and then I had to scale the other 100, which was me just going on some steps and just doing it leveled up. And then the 300 squats, I had to just do, there's no way to scale squats. So I just did the 300 squats, went on my run, and then came back and put all the kids to bed with Jason's help.
Yeah, but you could have scaled it and not done it, but you did, right? And remember, is done is always better than not starting, right? Yes. And so just get out there, and that's your business, and everything else doing is always better than not doing, and you learn from it, right? It was good. 3rd or 4th year I've done it. I did not have a weight vest yesterday, so I put a 25-pound dumbbell in a backpack, which it was about 30. Yeah, so that made it even more fun. And then the dumbbell, while I was running, fell out of the bag, so I was actually carrying a dumbbell running through the neighborhoods, and people were waving at me and probably just not sure what I was doing. And I'm not sure if they were waving at me or shouting at me because I had headphones in. Dude. But again, done. And honestly, if that's the hardest thing we have to do compared to people's challenges out there and what they've put in to get us to where we are in this country, then I'm sure we can just do a workout. So for you today, putting in your work, putting in your effort, putting in your know-how going forward, what is that step that you can go out and work harder and work smarter? Where can you take that work ethic and just put it into motion, but also appreciate when other people are putting in the work? We can learn from people that are out there that are maybe doing jobs that are like service jobs, and you can just appreciate their level of detail, the level of energy they put into it. And we all can remember this, right? So unfortunately, restaurants always get Yelp is a bad thing because, and don't sue us, Yelp, but if you do, whatever. But in that fact, they also categorize a lot with people putting in bad reviews. But most times, when you have a great experience, you may mention it, but you don't go out there and write about it, right? A lot is mentioned of experiences that that aren't great. But right now, people are going out of their way as restaurants and restaurateurs to go out there and find ways to make, one, survive, but two, to still give you what is important in life, give you that environment, that food that they've now found that you love, that you crave. Well, give them a great review, to put in something that can show, and you really give them what would be the word, give them some response that what they're doing, what they're trying to do, and what they're trying to create when they don't have many options is appreciated by you, who's maybe not in a position to cook this great meal, but is also now something that you can still have within part of your life.
I'm going to leave you with that, with appreciation. Why don't we all take this time to challenge ourselves to appreciate just a little bit more? Go on Yelp, review your favorite restaurant, or maybe not even your favorite restaurant, a restaurant that you know is catering to everyone, is going and doing their best in this time. And right now, I really want to take a moment to appreciate and talk about work ethic and service. I want to appreciate those service members that have given their lives so that we have the freedom to speak to you, that we all have the freedom to decide whether or not we want to work or not, to decide that, just have the lives we live. Thank you.
So what are we going to do for workout? We got one workout down. I got a mile, a 6 mile running this morning, and you had yoga done?
I did my yoga.
Great. So what are you going to do for the afternoon to end this up?
I haven't even thought of that. How about I go for a run?
Awesome.
That sounds
He's going to go for a run. I've been really knocking in a bunch of different variations of kettlebell workouts. I have a 35 and a 53 here, who one of the CrossFit gyms was awesome enough to loan to us right during this time, because the gym's not open. They said, hey, you want to borrow equipment, keep that thing going. How cool is that? So there's definitely some awesome gyms out there doing some work and putting in the work, still giving people great programming, give people great ways that they can still get fit and still feel invited or part of that team. So I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna do some cleans. I'm gonna do some single arm kettlebell snatches. I've been doing some kettlebell jumps, really squat jumps with those, and some lunges. That will kick off a good little process in doing that, 4 to 5 sets of 12. And that's been a great rotation. If you're not using kettlebells, great full body movement here with a lot of range of motion. It really can help you really just improve your overall body strength. And I like that as a combination to running. Also, don't forget about stretching, which I hate doing. So I'm saying to you, with more saying it to me at the same time, but I've been getting up just because I've run so much over the last, probably this year, I guess. I'd be lying if I knew where I was, but I'm probably at like maybe 1,500, 2,000 miles this year.
I think that's about right.
Yeah, and so somewhere in that range, but in that fact, just making sure that I'm putting in the work, because this is the long motion, right? So I get stronger the more I do it, but I also have to make sure that I, just like a car needs, to have an oil change, I just need to make sure that I'm continuing to condition my body, and that includes stretching, to make sure that I can do this repeatedly, especially when we get out there and do some more of these big races going forward, right?
Yes.
So Pili has made a commitment to, so next 100 mile run I do. She's going to be the pacer at the end, which means two things. Either our kids are going to have to learn how to babysit themselves, or somebody's going to come to this race wherever it was. I think my next one's in Canada, if it actually still happens in August or on the border. Someone's going to have to come up there, or some
we'll figure it out.
Canadians are friendly. So someone in Canada can potentially watch our kids, but Pili's going to run the last 10 to 24 miles, or 25 miles, depending on what's there as a pacer. Which would be cool, right? And usually that falls on, depending on race times, sometime in the dark, which always makes these races pretty cool, but that would be a great experience. So continue to go out there, explore, look at what can be done. If you're not feeling that you're meeting your full potential, well, the only person who can change it is you.
Yep.
All right.
You need to make the choice.
So we are at 28-minute mark. We're going to lead this out here. A little short there, but it gives you some time to really push in the end and not have to listen to something and get your focus there. I almost said happy Monday again, but it is happy Tuesday. We will be back tomorrow talking, and I actually know this because we're preparing, is overcoming doubt, where that takes us, where that gets us, what we can do. So,
and if you like what you heard, what you've seen, please go to YouTube, subscribe, follow us on Facebook. We're